Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Rue Show and
Zach.
it's the Rue Show and Zach. I don't know why I'm calling myself the Rue Show Rob. Anyway, it's ReZero time. Once again, a new episode came out, episode 3 of season 3.
It did, and some crazy shit happened.
I feel like that's gonna be every episode.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's ReZero. Like, I can't think of an episode where you watch it and you're just like nothing happened.
Yeah, and yeah, it's all filler.
It was
It's
all filler.
Naruto. It's just 6 weeks of filler, 10 minutes of story.
That's all we get. No, but I mean, once again, fantastic episode. I mean, I'm biased. I'm gonna say it's a fantastic episode. I feel like almost every week, to be honest.
Oh, it's very well done.
Yeah, this is what you get fantastic episodes when you got a well done series. You know?
Yeah, and when someone that takes their time to do it,
Yeah. Shout out White Fox. I think it's White Fox still, right? They're still doing
I
this.
believe so.
Okay. But anyway, the episode. You're not here to hear us just talk about. I guess you are here. I
Yeah.
guess we're here to talk, kind of.
Well, yes and no. All right. So big things went down. Big things went down. We got Regulus. He appears, and he kind of just kicks ass and takes names, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Uh,
Man's got 79 wives, apparently.
But is it 79 soon to be 80, or is it 78
No,
soon
I'm
to be
sorry. I
79?
apologize. He has 78 wives, soon to be 79.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah. That a lot of wives.
I mean, are they all still alive? I mean, he's at least a couple of hundreds of years old. I'd
I'm
assume
gonna
if not
say
older.
no. I'm gonna
I'm
say
also,
no.
I'm also gonna say no. And it doesn't. I don't know, based on how we kind of like saw the episode, if he even knows who Amelia's importance is. I feel like he does, obviously, but like based on the way he acted to Super, he's like, she's got a pretty face, dog.
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey. I mean, can you blame him? Like, yeah, it's crazy. Man just kind of shows up and it's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here now.
I'm
This
here.
is
This
me.
is my wife. This is my
Yeah.
new wife coming here. And
Adding,
yeah, Witch of Wrath. I don't care. You're obviously weaker than me. Don't even try. What are we doing here? Like, just stop messing with the man's right. The man has a right to a lot of things, and when you mess with his rights, you kind of get punished.
yeah, yes, you do. And when you're rude.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of agree with half the times he does something. I kind of agree with him. I'm like, that was kind of a offense to it.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta be polite. Just let him do what he wants. So then, Cirrus and Regulus fight, which is kind of telling. The witch cult seems so. From this episode, we kind of get the idea that the witch cult's acting from the gospel, right?
Hmm.
But when they're not doing that, they're kind of just doing whatever. And so Cirrus and Regulus fighting, and Super, kind of getting in the middle of that, trying to save Amelia. Uh like they look like they're about to kill each other, and then all of a sudden the clock dings, and they're like, "All right, time to go to work," and they
Yep.
just go off their separate ways.
They're like, all right, gospel says it's time for I don't go to church, so I don't know the exact phrase for it. It's time for our Bible study. Gotta go
Yeah, sure. Bible
later.
study. Yeah.
Sure.
Um, did you think it was? I mean, what are your thoughts on Cirrus thinking that Subaru is pedal juice using his what is it? What's he call it?
His
Divine
authority,
providence?
is it like kind of like similar to? It's similar to I'm saying authority. I don't know if that's the right
Yeah, no,
terminology.
it's his
It's
authority.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
similar to that. So that's why I mean it makes sense if I'm putting my brain into her brain, and like she doesn't think it's him per se, but she's like close enough, pretty much.
no,
It
she
seems
thinks it's
like.
him.
Oh, she truly thinks it's him, like just
Yeah,
brain
because
like
how he had his multiple fingers.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
she thinks he's just a finger. Oh, that makes sense. That makes
yeah,
sense.
no, she thinks it's him, and that's why she is all over herself. And Regulus is like, "You're a fucking idiot."
Yeah, like you think he used one move and you're like, oh, this is everything's changed. I'm back. Like, but well, one thing I did upload a reaction to this. Well, I don't know if it's going to upload by the time this uploads. So yes, there's a reaction video coming. And I remember when I saw Subaru is putting in work right now. You saw the whip action. You saw him and Betty. You saw him using the authority. Like obviously it took too much of a toll on him. He's still not used to the authority part of it. But like he's putting in like actual work.
Yeah, and like I seriously wonder if there's gonna be a moment, and this is me speculating. I don't know. I'm gonna assume there's gonna be a moment where he actually gets his magic on and increases his like shit he can do like with his mana. So like he can have a powered up Betty. He can actually like you do stuff besides Shamik.
Sure. Yeah. If he had Amelia's like unlimited pool of mana, I mean Subaru could do some like real damage in a fight.
Well, look at the Betty and Subaru move where they just
Yeah.
like fuck it, we're just gonna go right through you. I don't know what
You know how
exactly
dangerous that could be?
What?
I mean, you know how dangerous that could be? Like, I'm thinking of like Naruto's Tobi, like, or Obito, who cares? I'm spoiling Naruto for you. Obito. When he, like, you could literally go through someone, obviously against an authority, meh, but like, if you're fighting almost anyone, you can go through them, have a knife, stab them in the neck, boom, you've won.
Unless you're Regulus and you just don't take damage.
Yeah, if you're Regulus and you're, I mean, like, that's not a fair fight. Anyone else almost, he could probably beat Wrath with that, to be honest. If he had the opportunity. We don't see it, obviously, because of circumstances.
Well, let's talk about that. So after the clock bell strikes and they go about their day, Suru gets fucked. His
Oh,
leg
yeah.
is destroyed.
Along with Larry's leg. Don't forget.
Along
We can't
with
forget
a lot
about
of people's
Larry.
legs. Yeah, Larry.
Just Larry.
Larry's in the book. In the show, I think he's dumb.
Dumb and dumber.
Yeah. But in
Yeah.
the book they call him Larry Curly and Moe, which I think is a lot funnier. And so as a result, everyone else gets fucked too.
Yeah.
Because they're all linked by Wrath.
Mhm.
Betty's a real one.
Yeah.
Saves his leg
Heals
and
everybody.
yeah, everybody.
Like, oh, you're talking about every single person, which is, I mean, she's incapacitated now because of it. So we need someone like Reinhardt to come up and be like, here's some, actually, I don't know if no, that wouldn't probably work. We need someone else.
You need Julius.
Yeah,
or
you need
Amelia.
Julius or
You
yeah,
need
to
another
do that.
spirit mage to give their mana. I think Reinhardt would actually kill her, to be
Yeah,
honest.
he comes in the room. She just starts dying. Speaking of Reinhard, actually, that's I'll save that. I'll save that. Let's stay on where we're at.
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. We go with Garfield and Mimi on a little
Oh,
adventure.
the Garfield and Mimi adventures with I'm trying to think of a funny How I Met Your Mother. You know, kind of. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, kind of for
not
Mimi.
in the same context though, but yeah,
not in the same context at all. But the title kind of like give you like a
That
60% works
yeah,
analogy.
yeah, sure. Um, yeah. So we get introduced to this woman that looks like Garfield's mom. Garfield's like, "Nah, dog, that ain't my mom. No way. Fuck you. I'm gonna leave." And gets up to leave, and then gets harassed by her husband, who's like, "Hey, how do you know that woman?" And he's like, "Oh, I found her in the wood, or I found her underneath some mudslides." Which, okay, that's kind of bizarre.
And then I'm not gonna say what. She
Then
became my wife. She forgot her
yeah.
memory, and then yep, she's just now my wife. I don't love that storytelling to be honest, but here we are.
Oh, she's got a like sad story.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll be honest, I don't remember. I remember it happened season 2. We were shown kind of
Oh,
why she's leaving and everything, but I don't fully remember.
yeah. So I don't know if the show is going to go more in depth with this. So I should I do like a slight spoiler warning? It's
Let's.
just the backstory of his mom.
I feel like that's fine. If you're listening, skip maybe I'd say 3 minutes ahead, and if we're still talking about it, then
So Garfield's mom was actually taken during the war, I want to say, or before the war. She was taken by slavers, got used as a slave does, let's say.
uh,
Um, had
Mm.
Frederica, then was sold to a different group of slavers, got used, as they say, um, had was pregnant with Garfield when she came across Sanctuary or at Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it and the book well I'm sorry and the book kind of describes that she always keeps a like a sunny disposition, like she's always like happy and carefree even though she's had all this basically trauma in her life.
Yeah.
So I find it kind of interesting that she would go and try to find um Garfield's dad, which is why she left, because both slavers were demi-humans and she's a human
Uh,
obviously. That's why they have that they can both transform.
yeah.
Um, but it really like the book mentions it that like that's what happened. But they don't really go in depth about what the actual relationships were. So it could have been consensual and all that, but the way that I understand it as of right this second, um, it's murky. Let's just say it's murky. It's not implied, but she was in fact a slave, and the slave masters, one of them is the father of her children in both groups. So the fact that then she loses her memory and is with someone that shows her some kindness, it's actually kind of like, oh, okay, this isn't as bad, but she forgets her other two children, which is also sad. So, yeah,
Damn,
her
dude.
story is just kind of super depressing.
That is, I mean, heavily depressing. Like,
But then again, I
jeez.
also don't know, like I said, if
I'm going to go with the assumption it was not. I'm gonna
but
go
then
with
why would
this.
she try to go find Garfield's dad? That's what I don't understand.
So I feel like the reason is like probably PTSD or like it's there's something that like she's not going back because she's like I'm in love with him or something like that. It's like she had this man's kid. There might be something of I needed some obligation there.
She's more
There has to be.
so
I don't think she's in love. Is what I'm getting. I don't think she is like
yeah,
I love this man. I want to visit him again. No, I think there's a. It's not that at
yeah, she
least.
probably wants like closure or like some ending to all that. And like you know how sometimes people like she's trying to grow as a person maybe and is trying to take what happened head on and be like, yeah, this happened, but now I'm owning it type thing instead of
Yeah.
being a victim. Kind of like it's kind of like Garfield's current arc a little bit, where he's not like, yeah, he's the strongest, whatever. But when he's finally able to like realize why he's so sad and why he works so hard and um own like, yeah, you don't have to be the strongest to be useful type thing.
Yeah. You don't have to be. Another observation I want to make real quick about Garth's mom is how that she now has again a son, a younger son, and a daughter who's kind of literally a
Older.
representation of a Frederica and him
Right.
now, except in a. It's like Garth. This it's almost in a. He sees what his life could have been. Like it's you. He gets to see what his life like could have been. It's literally boom. This is like a nice father. Your mother's there. Like it
Yeah.
is. This is what your life could have been. And I see when he runs out almost. I see why he does in a
Yeah, it's
way.
too much. It's too much.
It's too much. It's too much. And I mean, even the dad's a cool guy. I think the dad's like, hey, how do you know? Like, I still don't agree with finding someone in a rebel and somehow being like, I am marrying them. Like, what are the chances of that? Let's just.
Yeah, you got no
Uh,
memory. I'm sure it's fine. You don't
I'm
need that.
sure it's fine. You don't need. Yeah, he seems like a good guy, but like, I'm just not a fan of that writing or not even writing or that type of character. Like, just anyway. Uh, him and Mimi have a moment of like, which was nice. I actually almost cried. I was like, well, if I'm not gonna say cared more, but like Garth's not like one of my favorite characters. So, but if that was like Subaru, like when Subaru with his dad and stuff and his mom, I cried. This moment, I almost cried, but it wasn't there. But it was emotional. It's
Yeah,
good.
Garp does cry.
Like he had to let it out.
Mimi's in love with Garf.
Uh, I mean, Mimi's like what 10? I have no idea how her race
No,
age is. Are they
they're
like 15, 16, something?
no, they're like the same age. So, well, Garf was
Isn't Garth like
third.
16 or 13?
No, Garf was 13 in Sanctuary.
This is
I
like
want to say.
14.
Well, whatever. He's a year older now, and I think they're
Probably like both 14.
yeah,
Young
they're close
love.
in age. But even so, like, and they cut this part out in the anime, but in the book, uh, Mimi's being overly affectionate to Garfield at the mansion, and Ram does not like that. Even though
I feel
Ram
like Ram's like
supposedly has no feelings.
I don't think it. I feel like it's older sister level feelings. For,
Mm,
from what the anime has shown me, it's giving older sister feelings, not love.
uh, maybe,
So
maybe.
like love still, but just not in the love of romantic.
After that, uh, we get Super waking up after getting his leg demolished.
Yeah, you got Al and Felix there come for him like, hey, bud. Yeah, everything is kind of
Fucked.
fucked. Like, yeah, the witches are here. And I know they didn't really get into that part there. They got in that later on. But in general, let's just summarize those two moments of the witches are here.
The
It's
arch, no,
Halloween.
no, the
The archbishops. I'm thinking, sorry, you're right. Thus, archbishops are here. There are four of them because there's gluttony, which they don't
yeah,
even know gluttony's there yet. We'll get to that soon. There's wrath. Then you have lust, right?
yeah,
Lust. And then you have Regulus, which I'm forgetting which one he is right now, but
greed.
greed. So you have four archbishops, don't even know gluttony's there. From what Crucian and them could know, they didn't even know that he encountered two until he told them that everything they control the water system. They can flood the city.
Everything
It
is
is.
fucked.
Yes.
Did I'm sorry, I like sped watched this to get ready for this. Did they announce what their goal was?
I I don't remember. I don't.
I don't think so.
Nothing's
I
com-
think it
nothing's
ended
coming
with
to mind with what's their goal is.
okay, because I won't spoil it. I just wanted to make I didn't know
This
what
I'm just thinking like what a time to come to the city. Just be like, hey, we're just going to this city. Let's gotta
but
meet.
okay. So speculation time.
Already, what about Otto?
What?
We
Fuck
got some
off.
other. Wait, what do you? Whoa, whoa, whoa! He's my thumbnail for my reaction. Otto's one of the MVPs, other than the time he
Yeah,
pushed Subaru, like
he is.
out when
But
the white whale got him. But
he's probably fucked.
I really hope like because he hasn't asked anybody who's Otto. I mean, Otto could have escaped. I feel like
Otto's like yeah, Otto will escape. He's
yeah, I don't.
survived like four different times encountering the witch cult and
Mhm.
various loops and all. He's fine.
Wait, wait. Speculation. You said speculate. I'm gonna speculate before you speculate. Reinhardt. We didn't see Reinhardt or Felt before Otto. Something happens to Otto. Glenny's about to attack him. Reinhardt, Julius, someone is there, and that's going to save him. Because Otto will not die. This isn't the type of moment where you already have Rem where she's forgotten. You're not going to repeat the same story arc with Otto now. And there's no more loops at this point. Someone's got to save him in regard, and that's probably going to be one of, Julius, Reinhardt, one of those two.
Well,
Or the other.
maybe.
There's a lot of other people
Well, I was
also
gonna say, well, Reinhardt, remember,
felt.
he gets summoned by Larry in the previous loop.
Yeah.
You think he was by Otto too?
Well, I'm just going off of what Felt said a couple episodes back, where she's like, yeah, if I just call him, he just shows up, and then he just is like in the background. Then I'm just assuming the man can show up when
True.
you call him, he's just going to show up. You could be in a
That's
different
awesome, yeah.
continent, he'll show up. So I'm going with that. I mean, it also could be a lot. There's so many other characters that I do not know their names of, so I will not even try to say their names that are part of the other camps that could be there that aren't obviously with Crucius camp. And what's the other candidate's name?
Anastasia.
Mimi's Anastasia's camp. There's other people that it
Right.
could be.
Um,
Probably Reinhardt though. Probably Reinhardt.
okay, sorry. Before we go with speculation, I just want to say, so this is like is this the shortest death loop we've had where he doesn't overcome uh like he doesn't overcome the challenge.
Yeah, I think this is easily the shortest death loop. It is like, I mean, he realistically, I know time passes by because he's passed out, but if you don't include the time he's passed out, the time the man's conscious, it goes maybe 30 minutes of a different like until it's just like, well, there's nothing to do. Like,
Right.
you can't go back. I mean, I know Subaru doesn't like to die, so this is meaningless for me to say. So if you see my reaction, you're like, "Oh, why'd you say why do you want Subaru to die when he doesn't want to kill himself?" That's not the way what Subaru would do. I'm saying that is because this loop looked like a lot of this stuff's going to happen anyway. But I might have tried to just say, "Hey, maybe we reset after once my leg got cut." Well, Betty's not going to let him. I just feel like resetting would have been a good
Well,
option
I
there.
also think like we ended at like I almost feel like this episode should have been two episodes smashed together just because like what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably gonna say that for every episode. But because yeah, he immediately wakes up and like he's surrounded by the camp or whatever. We don't know where the next flag is anyway, as he calls it, like his
Yeah.
respawn point. So he could be already past where Amelia gets taken. And there's really no like I see why he would like maybe think about resetting, but he already saved the initial goal was to save the little kid.
Yeah.
And as we see in this episode, since he saved the little kid, he got Al, and Al's the one that saved Subaru and Betty after the fight. So it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy that like not crazy, but it's just kind of interesting that he didn't reset, but also, he needed to like he's there now. Like
Yeah.
this is what we gotta
He's
do.
And I mean, it's good for storytelling wise. Obviously, resetting's not the sorry, I kept my camera. Not the greatest storytelling way to be like, oh, but it's time to reset. Oh, let's just. And as a character, he's not going to just kill himself because it's very painful just to die. He doesn't want to. He's made that clear. Like obviously, if I was in issues, I'm not going to be like, oh, time to stab myself. No, I'd be like, no, man, I'm.
Like here we go.
So he doesn't want to kill himself. I get that. It was just more of like, the numbers brain in me. But the thing is, he did win. Like you're kind of getting at is no one died other than that security guard that Gluttony killed, and that was going to happen regardless because he's not in the area whatsoever.
Yeah, no one died, but they got seriously maimed.
Yeah, they got seriously maimed. They all got healed. They're probably there. I'm assuming everyone's fine at this point. They all got healed. They're good. They're living the life.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Bobby, you had mentioned about the four archbishops being in the city.
yes, sir.
Well, what do you think Anastasia's goal is? Did she know? Well, it seems to be like she didn't know that there was going to be an attack in the city, but she specifically invited the Krush camp with the details of where Gluttony would be. And as we saw in the episode, Gluttony is in the city. Do you think this is some kind of power move? Because I don't know. I don't know this from. I'm assuming it's going to get answered later in the arc. But is this a move that she did because everyone else is so much more powerful now than they were? Is this a move she did knowing that there was going to be some kind of attack, assembled all the camps because she knew she couldn't let this city fall or whatever the main goal is of these archbishops? Do you think she was aware of what they wanted and set this kind of up so that all the camps would be there and have the most powerful fighters? Do you think that's something that she would do?
Character wise, yes, easily. That's something she would do. Is she doing that? I would even go more sinister about it and say, hey, like, yeah, I want the camp's strongest fighters to help in this situation because I can't let the city fall because it's one of my main this is my home area, this is my home base. You can't really let the city fall. But also, with all their fighters can then die, and that weakens their camps too as well. And there's even I would go farther in that maybe she had Mimi take Garf, unknowing to Mimi because she just likes Garf, using that to her advantage, knowing she likes Garf to get Garf away from the situation. Probably not the case. I'd give that a 10% likelihood of her like Lelouching it. I know Code Geass reference, and being like, I'm 15 steps ahead. I knew you were going to do this thing, so I just let you. No, probably not. But if she did, I think it's in her character to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know if it's like malevolent because as of right now, like the only priestess, I think is what they call them, the only camp that is like borderline evil or like has bad intentions is Priscilla's camp. Um, but Anastasia, even when Subaru was negotiating to have her help with the white whale, it was still used to her advantage. And they even mentioned it again. Like, she's a businesswoman. This would be to her advantage to get everyone together.
This is a political business move. Like if you're watching Game of Thrones, this is something Tywin Lannister would do.
Right.
Like this is business. It's not like there's no ill intent. She's giving you what you actually want too. You want gluttony? Here, gluttony's in my city. Have at it.
Well, and it could even be like as of right this moment, we don't know what, like I said, this is just pure speculation. But she could also be looking at it like, hey, I found out that gluttony is like 10 miles down the road. So using my, merchant brain, I'm thinking, all right, there might be something else going on. Maybe she even knew that there were more archbishops spotted in the area. And maybe she deduced, all right, this seems like the plan of attack. And I think we can come back to this next week
Mm-hmm.
because I think she might know what the arch or what the witch cult is after. Um, and once we find that out, I think we can uh, discuss more about what exactly they want with it, or what it is that they want.
I agree. The one thing I would want to leave, like last speculation, and it might have already been answered in the books and or in the show. I don't remember it though. However, what witch are they talking about that's buried there?
Wait,
They said there's a witch that's buried in the city, like that died. The it was made to imprison a witch, and their body is still there. What
oh,
witch
oh, oh.
is it?
You'll find out next week. That's why
So you
I
know
was,
who it is already?
yeah, yeah,
Or
I know who it is.
is it answered it previously, or is it not answered
No,
until later?
that's why it was such a weird thing. They cut it during the credits. Like that's where they cut it. Like
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like they
so
could
we'll
have
find
made
out
this,
next week.
like they could have extended it 10 more minutes and just had the whole conversation.
So we're starting next week's episode, finishing that conversation and going from there, most likely.
Yeah, because um yeah, I know which witch it is, and um I don't know why they want what they want, but I do know which witch is buried in because it doesn't say what they want, right? It just says that there's
Yeah, they didn't say what they want. Nope, we
but
don't.
they said there's a witch buried in the city.
That's what Krush says, like near the end, and then the episode ends. Krush, someone said, I don't know if it was Krush that said that.
What do you think of the witches themselves versus their archbishops?
The witches themselves versus their archbishops.
So like,
Maybe I feel like this might be its conversation of its own.
yeah, well that's kind of what I was thinking too. But like, just real quick, because like you have Ekidana, right?
Yeah,
And the Witch of Greed, who, if I was Subaru, I just want to put this out there, um, definitely would have taken the deal. Hands down, would have taken the deal with Ekidana. As much as I love me some Amelia, but I
I
would
would
have
have took
followed.
Ekidana as well. That's
What?
a difference. I said I would have chose Ekidana as well.
But then you look at Regulus, and his greed seems to be um, like with his wives, and Ekidana's greed is knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of like I want to know more about number one how these archbishops are made because Regulus was around for Pandora.
Yeah, Regulus is, at least for our knowledge, has been around for at least 100 years, at least, if not probably way longer than that. But
And in the book, this is like an off sentence. So like the demi-human war, right? When Wilhelm was Subaru's age, or a little
mm-hmm.
bit older, when he was fighting there was a demi-human war. It was a civil war that plunged the country into fighting. Um, there were magic users that they called witches, but they were not they were not the same witches, or on the same level as, um, I guess the Sin witches, the witches that they keep talking about. Because in the book he mentions that. Because did they mention who was talking? They said the Witch of Lust, right?
Yeah. It's the Wish of Us.
Did
Yeah,
they say what
she introduces herself pretty much.
did they it said her full name?
Yes, they said her name, couldn't pronounce it. Going to stick with the Witch of Lust.
So, and this is probably going to be mentioned in next week's episode a little bit too, but she's got the same royal name as the royal family, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think. How do the archbishops come? I mean, thinking of Petalgeese, for an example. Pandora pretty much makes him in a way, right? Like, I'm trying to recall how he gets the authority in him.
He activates the authority to fight. Doesn't he try to fight Vanity and
Yeah, and it doesn't work out for him.
Melancholy, right?
Yeah.
Mel was that the
I think
same thing or was that different?
No, Melancholy. No,
Was
that's different. That's different. Melancholy is different.
Melancholy was with Ekidana and Roswell and
Yeah,
Betty.
that's that situation. Yeah, but like
Vanity was, that's right, when Amelia was, Vanity was trying to get Amelia to open the door, and Juice uses the authority to try to protect um the tribe, the people.
yeah. So different thing, but like I'm assuming so when one archbishop dies, the authority someone could take the authority. So technically, in a way, Subaru could be an archbishop, maybe, if he so chooses to be. But like, has to be a mechanic to it that's not just getting authority. It has to be more than that.
Right, and then the other thing is too, like, don't forget Roswell said he was trying to make Subaru a sage.
Yeah.
So we have stages too that we haven't even come across yet.
I wasn't even sure if that was a phrase of a sage or a sage of so much. Because I mean, in a way, Subaru could be like fully knowledgeable of the entire world. Because it's the same way of if you like if I were I think what's the one movie with the guy from Lonely Island, Andy Samberg? He's like in a beach, he dies. Like every day resets pretty much.
Yeah,
you could technically
it's
obvious.
Yeah, that movie.
Yeah, that movie. I think we watched it together.
It's Palm Springs.
Yeah, Palm Springs. So obviously, because this is Roswell, and he's not human in the sense of like emotions. His way of saying, yeah, you can know everything in the world, just kill yourself, and you have an infinite amount of time. Just kill yourself, Subaru. You'll figure it out. That makes you a sage, like just a normal turn of a sage. Like you can know everything in the world because of it.
Right.
But it's Roswell's way of thinking of killing yourself means nothing, so why don't you just keep doing it? Versus, if you look at it as a human element, no, not going to do that. Or it could just be sage, could be a actual position.
It could be, but I think because what does Juice call him? He calls him.
He asks if he's pride. Yeah, he says, "Are you pride?" Which means there's no pride at the moment, Juice doesn't know.
We don't know
if he's pride. Let's wrap it up there, guys. What do you think about the episode? Leave your comments down below. Yeah, and don't forget to like the video. We're going to try to do this every single week. Might be late on the uploads, depending on schedule and availability. And yeah.
Demand episode 1 to release, because that was a lot.
That was a lot. I have that in jail until further notice. But anyway, ciao.
Bye.